Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our reaction and review for Widow's Bay Season 1, Episode 5.
Mhm.
This show is awesome. It also really makes your brain hurt. Like, I had so many brain cramps trying to figure out this episode, trying to piece things together. Like, this is only 30 to 35 minutes. I felt like I did more mental exercise here than watching, in a lot of cases, a 2-hour movie. Like, I'm still trying to put everything together now.
This was a tough episode because we've definitely had fans of this show in two camps. There's Team Supernatural, where
Yeah.
everybody is feeling like everything that's happening is all supernatural. Then you have the other team of there's a group of humans behind this that are playing into people's fears and lore and making this all like, exasperated for everybody that's on the island to keep some sort of control over it. This episode was just a trip. And because it was a trip, we don't know what's real and what's not and what's happening and what's just in Tom's head. And that's where this, beautiful little third camp shows up, where
Okay.
is this whole show basically not in Tom's head like it's a dream or anything like that, but the fears that he has and the things that we've learned in this episode about Tom's wife, about why he's trying to keep his son on the island, the things that he's been fearful from since losing his wife. Is this all just part of like his brain breaking on him?
I think there is an argument to be made of that, and a lot of it kind of stems from what Wick said to him in the first episode about the island waking up, and that might have started this downward spiral. I mean, what's clearly really fun about this show is it allows all of us to live in these multiple worlds where I feel like there are explanations and ways you can justify any of these three camps and try to make it work. Like,
Yes.
there are moments as someone who has tried to feel like, there's logical explanations where I'm still feeling like I'm being dragged in all directions. But at the same time, in this episode, I think there's things, especially with this truesight, this item that was found in the forest, if you will, where we can also kind of retroactively use a little of this to try to explain episode 4, as difficult as that may be. So there may be dropping answers to other episodes and future episodes. They may be just trying to confuse us further. And honestly, I'm here for all of it so long as I'm having a good time.
No, that opening episode, seeing him, this guy going through the forest, finding the truesight, eating the truesight. I was just like, is this whole thing a truesight trip? Is that what's going on here? Maybe there was some of it ground up in, whatever Tom was drinking at the hotel as well. It's really difficult to know at this point.
It is, but that's also a part of the fun. We'll see if they ever really reveal anything. It's sort of like From. Everybody's constantly wanting answers on From. And I do too, but I'm not mad about the ride so long as we have a little bit of progress and new things to discuss every single week. And so far with Widow's Bay, we are there.
Okay, speaking of Tom's wife, be sure to join our YouTube memberships. On our YouTube memberships, we have exclusive videos over there, and we have one there right now on Widow's Bay. That is a much deeper dive into theories all around Tom's wife, exactly what happened, how it went down, and why this is all going on with Evan. And it also really helps us here at the channel. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined.
Thank you guys. That is so very appreciated. And we also have a really exciting partnership we're doing right now with Oxnet Clothing.
Yes.
We are wearing Oxnet in this very video. They are super snazzy, super comfortable, retro inspired clothes, a lot of 1960s, 70s themed designs. We both really love them. We're having a great time wearing them. We have a link in the description to this video where you can go over to Oxnet's website with the code MattandJessTV. You can save 15% off on your purchase. We really appreciate your support there.
Absolutely. I love these sweaters. I've been wearing them for years. I have like 20 of them.
Yeah, they're really great. So thank you guys so much. And as we continue in this video, I want to give a shout out to Matthew Rhys. And I know this is not breaking ground to say that he is a great actor. Everybody who watches The Americans knows this already. What I love about his performance in this episode is that this whole going on a trip story, it can be really hokey. It can be really cheesy. You can try to play it like a sitcom, but I like that it was strange, kind of funny at times, but also kind of terrifying at times too, with his eyes, with the way other people are looking at him. Even the scene when he goes into the convenience store and he's basically told to leave right away. You see all the spilled milk. It's like there is some legitimate fear in all of this too.
There was so much fear in this
Mm,
for me, the way that they did this with the blackouts,
mm.
and that we were along for this ride with Tom, and how scary it really is to lose entire periods of time where all of a sudden you've woken up in a car and you've got Rosemary being like, don't move the car anymore. I was like, anymore? What's been going on here that you've been allowing him to move this car at all?
Yeah.
It's just, it really was terrifying going through this experience with him, especially because he didn't want to be the person to go on it. I mean, if we go back in time here, boop, boop,
Hmm.
boop, 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 we are back in time. Oh,
Hey,
look,
okay.
it's Bryce and everything that's happening here. Oh, they're finding letters. They're finding, oh, it's a trip. Here's this thing. What is it? Let's bring it to the sky. Oh, yeah, Bryce has been taking this thing so that he can open his third eye. Wick's like, you know what? I'm down. Give this to me. I'm going to do it. You guys can be here. I'm a willing participant. Oh no, it's in Tom's tea and it's lasting 12 hours. That is the scariest part of it. If you're not ready for something and you have not accepted to do something like that, to have that happen to you, this whole episode felt like just pure terror of, I can't control what's going on and I never agreed to this.
And this is where we get into the big question, starting with how much of all this really happened after the moment Tom ends up having this drink. Because, like, my biggest takeaway, yeah, we see him at the meeting about the curfew. We see him at the gas station. We see him interact with all of these people. Like, I don't know if this is a big brain thought that in the aftermath of all of this, all these people would have theoretically seen and experienced everything Tom did if this all really happened. Would they then be like, okay, you know what? We don't think you can be mayor anymore. Even though nobody apparently wants to be mayor of Widows Bay, we're probably better off if there's no mayor at this point.
Especially since he's got like a town hall going on with
Yeah.
this curfew, and then he's blacking out in the middle of it and waking up while holding like a marker. He's written on the board, like, everybody turn your back
Yes.
and close your eyes. I'm just like, why is anybody leaving him in charge at this point or not having questions?
Yeah, like if you want to try to come up with, I don't know if I can say an easy explanation, but just for example, maybe he writes that on the whiteboard. Everybody is just like, okay, see you later, Tom. Have a nice night. And they all just leave. And maybe that's the full extent of it. And maybe all he did was spill the milk at the convenience store. And it's nothing that extreme. And maybe their desire to not have a new mayor is enough to just kind of look the other way
Yeah.
on all of this. But that's still assuming a lot when I think there's still a lot of time in these blackouts that really we're not accounting for yet.
Okay, let's talk about my eye
Okay.
is open. This is what was carved into Bryce's desk.
Yeah.
This is something that right before Tom went on his trip, he was told that this is what this is going to do. We get to the end of this episode where there's been a little bit of a reveal of what happened with Tom's wife. She was pregnant with Evan. They were on their way to the mainland, and all of a sudden she was like, I can't see, I can't see, I can't see. We don't know everything that happened. We saw her in some sort of a hospital sitting up in bed, and that's kind of where we got to with that whole situation. Him in the bathroom begging and pleading to God, question mark. I will do anything if you protect my son. And then we hear this voice that there is no way that that is God that is stepping in to be like, yo, I got you, bet. You want me to take care of your son? What are you willing to do for me? And I was just like, okay, is this supernatural or are we still on the trip?
Yeah, and they made that pretty ambiguous at this point as to who exactly this is. Because, like, there is a camp that, all right, maybe it's because of what happened to the Reverend that, oh, Tom is trying to pray to God and hoping that,
Yeah.
okay, maybe God will hear me. And then, yeah,
Someone else shows up.
yeah, someone else shows up instead. Like, they just blocked it and was just, no, 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 I'm here now. You have to listen to me. Which, if that's the case, like, all the supernatural camp is going to say that, okay, there are dark and sinister spirits out there. And
Yes.
like, I'm fine if it's supernatural as well, so long as there are rules and ways in which it works, and we can kind of so we're not just like picking everything out of the air and there's no way to actually follow any of it.
Okay, Team Supernatural. Is this Patricia's fault? Because in the
Oh,
last
okay.
episode, she had her book that was by Lucy Fours, and she was like doing all this spells and whatever. And even though she had it all burned away or whatever, did she open up some sort of a portal for Lucy Fours to come in and say, Tom, I can help you out, but it's going to cost?
It's certainly possible. I mean, all this is so fun because then, like, you can also use this episode to be like, okay, maybe everyone at the party just had the true sight, and this is everything that ended up happening. It was
Yes,
all in
in the punch.
yeah, and it's like you can go either way with some of this, but
Especially
yeah,
with the punch, because that's how Tom ended up getting it in the tea. And
yeah.
then we saw him drinking at the hotel. Like, is this the key to Widow's Bay, that everybody is enjoying some true sight?
Well, I think what matters the most here at this point for Tom is that he's going to believe what he heard because of everything else that we have seen so far this season already. Tom is down the hole. Tom is not going to
Yeah.
be able to turn away from some of this stuff. So he may think, regardless if something's real or not, that he has to negotiate, that he has to give up something. Like, what is Tom going to be willing to give up at this point?
Okay, I also want to talk about this whole true sight thing, because it sounds like, and I don't know if this is all connected to Tom's trip, and maybe he's been tripping through this whole thing. Does
Yeah.
everybody remember the wolf calendar back
Yes.
at the beginning of this, where it's like, oh, it's pictures of wolves, 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 flipped over car?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there was a mention of that kind of in this episode, where someone named Brian took this in the 8th grade and took his mom's car and flipped the car. And I was just like, okay, that's 2 now, flip the cars. And it's like we're only in a couple of episodes at this point.
I am going to go 10 toes down on this idea. And I don't even think this is that crazy. It's just like every little detail, even if it's a gag on this show, I think they all matter. I mean,
I agree.
for those of you who aren't familiar with the lore of Widow's Bay, like this is one of those classic ideas that took years and years and years in order to make.
Yeah.
And when you have an idea like that, I feel like if you are behind it, you're probably just trying to plant as many different things as possible. I think this show is going to be incredibly rewatchable once we get to whether it's the finale, whenever it ends, hopefully not for like 10 more seasons, but
Yeah.
then we can go back and look at all these things. Like, the wolves are clearly woven into just about everything. I mean, we get a ton more mentions of the boogeyman in this episode with
Oh,
everything.
yes.
Yeah, with that's going on here with Tom's son as well.
That whole thing with the kids, I really like that they're actually
Mhm.
making them part of the show, and that it's not just, oh, they're out here causing trouble, whatever. It's all, intersecting with the lore, even from the very first episode where they're all in the car and you see all the lights going out and all the
Yeah.
power going out. And we see, the electric chair at the end of the episode,
Mhm.
which obviously feels connected there.
Yeah.
But here you've got them all talking about the boogeyman. Oh, this is where that guy lived, and this is what that guy did, and everybody called him the boogeyman. So it's interesting to hear that there's the lore of the boogeyman for
Yeah.
people like Patricia, who are like, no, man, this is a real thing that happened. And then there's the lore of everyone else that is saying this was a person.
Yeah, and then it comes down to what do you believe? What do you want
Right.
to believe? And for me, like this is all going to be connected to like the big tinfoil hat thing at the start of all this, like what's actually going on in the town
Right.
where, if the boogeyman was a person, it feels like this guy was so infamous because of everything that he did. Like nobody wants to live in this house anymore, right? Like it's just
Especially if he's buried in it under the concrete. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's true. It's
But-
probably just part of the lore, but
here's the thing.
no thanks.
Buried underneath. Let's all go underneath here for a moment because there is that electric chair we saw back at the end of the first, within the first couple of
And
episodes.
tunnels
Yeah.
under the sewers.
I think this house is connected to the chair. I think it's connected to the tunnel. We know that the Reverend heard something in the well while he was
Yes.
running. And,
Yes.
I think that's all connected too, where if you are team, there's at least a somewhat reasonable explanation for all of this. I'm not saying for everything, but for at least some of this.
Yes.
I think you can make the case that, all right, somebody may be using this house as a sort of de facto home base, knowing ain't nobody ever going to want to go in there for
That's right.
reasons that are clear. They can then move around, make Reverend Bryce really, really afraid, find a way to get over to that church. Because here's the other thing, like, what really, really happened to the Reverend here? Like, that's a discussion within itself.
Absolutely. It looked like he did this to himself, and that's what everybody's saying on the show, but it could be set up by somebody.
Like, yeah, I think it was set up by somebody. Like, it just
I
feels,
agree.
yeah, it's too much coincidental that, yeah, even if he's on the true site or whatever, oh, he's just so happened to die right after he was running around warning people.
And calling Tom a million times. Like he called Tom over and over again, and he also called him to come there.
Yes.
Why are you gonna call Tom to come there
Yeah.
and then do that before he gets there?
Yeah, like here's the real unfortunate problem. And this may be, if there is a group of people behind this, which is something you've said in a lot of videos,
Yes.
they're all probably banking on the fact that Sheriff Bashir, I'm not gonna sit on here and be like, Sheriff Bashir, are you bad at your job? Because I don't think he's terrible, but I think the problem is he is one guy, and based on what we have seen through these first several episodes, he's got a lot on his plate. Like he keeps trying to go home, and it's just like everybody keeps calling him to have to deal with something else.
Well, he's also a guy that doesn't want to be there and seemingly isn't planning to stay there. I mean, we've heard the conversations with his wife that it's only going to be a couple more months and that they're getting out of this situation. Even Wick was like, "Oh, you're getting out, good."
Yeah, and I think he doesn't want to entertain the idea of anything supernatural. So I think he is just sort of,
Right.
I don't want to say writing everything off entirely, but he's like, okay, yeah. All right, Patricia, we got to get your statement. I got to go tell, Tom's son to leave this place. Like, I don't think he's willing to extend his brain to that level just yet. Now, is there a way that Tom or Wick or someone else can get him on board? Because, like, he is kind of key to actually making the wheels turn a little more here.
Absolutely. Our team is Wick and Tom and Patricia. I mean, we need somebody else in there that's just kind of a straight up non-believer, because that is truly what it feels like he is, that he's just waiting his time out to get out of here, and he doesn't buy into any of the lore. And I think it's fun when you have all these sort of supernatural things happening, or you think they're happening, and then you have the one believer in the group who's just like, no, I'm sorry, I believe that you guys are all just making this up. I believe that this is just nothing. There is no supernatural thing happening.
I can't wait for everything that's going to happen next on this show. Like, we are so glad all of you have been here with us from the
Yeah.
beginning, talking about Widow's Bay. I mean, of course, we want all your theories on what we got in this episode in the
Yes.
comments. Was it all imagined? Did all of this really happen? Is someone going to remove Tom from office immediately? And as Jess said earlier, be sure to join our memberships.
Yeah.
We have a much deeper discussion about Tom's wife going on over there.
Yes.
Thank you so much to everyone who is supporting us, and we will see you here next time.